And we're back on another one of these things we like to call Art Bros. Guys, we got Patrick with us again.
Yeah, you guys keep bringing me back. I don't know.
Yo,
we
like the doghouse.
I know.
It's a double decker, man.
Yeah, that's better than the one my parents gave me.
Today we're talking about Roy Lichtenstein.
Stein or Lichtenstein?
Stein.
I always thought it was Lichtenstein, but we're talking about Roy Lichtenstein's Whaam over here. One of his most well-known pieces.
Exclamation points.
Yes, Whaam. We're talking about the band Whaam and their hit song "Wake Me Up Before You Go Go."
Yes.
Yes, we're taking a different turn. So yeah.
Anyways, guys, Whaam by Roy Lichtenstein, made in 1963. One of the most well-known examples of pop art.
Pop art.
Yes, I want to touch up on what pop art is real quick.
Mm-hmm.
What is pop art?
It's pulp culture. It's art that revolves around pulp culture.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or consumerism.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Or the
it
culture.
ties, it swivels and coils.
There you go. So we're looking at this one right here. Whaam. This is taken out of a comic book panel from the comic book All American Men of War number 89, made in 1962. So it's just a year later.
Mm-hmm.
What we got is a jet plane attacking another plane.
And it says wham!
Yeah, explosion, wham, very Adam West Batman sort of thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The first thing I would like to say about this is, if we can get a bigger version right here, the fact that all the lines in the painting lead toward the explosion, and then the explosion just all the lines lead out.
Yes.
Very, very good rhythm. Very good movement, very good rhythm here. We got going on. Then we got the pilot saying, "I pressed the fire control, and ahead of me, rockets blazed through the sky." You can also see it as like, it's a painting and it's a poem as well.
I know, yeah. That's what I was thinking. I was like, poetry.
It's poetry.
Oh, look at that.
There you go, there.
It also adds, like, I don't know. I feel like it adds personal character.
It does.
It kind of like...
What's the story behind it?
It diverges. I mean, it separates what the art has to do with rather than the art has to deal with the person.
It's a moment capture of this action.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, when you take it out of context, what he's decided to capture, immortalize, is the taking of a life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, you can't tell me that the pilot's going to survive that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge explosion, and if he survives a huge explosion, well, he's falling at what seems like a huge altitude.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I kind of just realized here.
It's interesting you say that because you have this very serious, like, killing a man almost type of topic, but it's presented in this almost
Childish
American.
I would say childish, cartoony.
Right,
So
right. I guess I should say,
It's a comic book.
Yeah.
So-
That's kind of what I was kind of giving the feel for.
Now, Lichtenstein. Am I saying it right again?
You know what? Let's
I
keep alternating the name.
I know, yeah.
Anyways,
we gotta hit it right one time, right?
Lichtenstein, he chose to use comic book panels because he considered comics as an unrespected art, I would say. Mm-hmm. They were just throwaway things. You know, you would buy them for like 99 cents, and then you would read them, and then bam, they immediately lose their value.
Mm-hmm. Unless you kept them, you'd be rich now.
Yes.
yes. So he chose, we have this childlike nature sort of work.
Simplified,
Mm-hmm.
Very. It's like I said, childlike.
And if you look at it the right way, it's kind of abstract, really.
Very. Oh yeah, it really is. But to my point, we have a serious adult matter kind of being represented in a very childlike way.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of saying, look, comic books aren't just for kids. Or not just comic books, but like, this style should be more respected than it is.
Mm-hmm.
This right here, we are immortalizing this taking of a life, and I even have some poetry there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
that's more like purple prose, really.
Yeah, that's my takeaway from this, honestly. And yeah, you could actually see this as both pop art and abstraction, because that is a jet plane in the explosion, although it is an abstract version of a jet plane.
But it's still readable.
Yeah.
You can still tell what the action is
And
going on.
That is what abstract is. It's just an altered version of what's really there.
I mean, you can tell even by the fire, the exaggeration of the hard lines. I mean, fire isn't just like those branches out. It's just like it's usually. Well, it's not usually, but fire's usually just like
it's a very exaggerated explosion. Very.
Almost looks like a flower. Now that you know.
Yeah, it does. It takes a life of its own. It really does.
He did this after learning a certain way to make these paintings, right? Because I think his first painting using this particular style of pop art, he used oil, right? But this, he used something else.
His process really evolved into almost mechanical, like a mechanical process.
I think it's called Magna something, right? The paint used.
Yeah, I believe.
Doesn't say here, unfortunately. To the machine, Lichtenstein made it a point to make his art look as machine-made as possible. Even though it was all made, it was made by hand. Maybe he did some silk screening or some sort.
There definitely is a technique that could be easily repeated and put onto more.
But I think he actually
canvases.
did like apply the paint himself, though, but made it look.
Yeah, he
it's
made
not
it look
like I don't want to use this piece as a strong example of the process that he really evolved into
we
in the
see
future.
that later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, with this one, I find it really interesting because it's not one of the original pieces that made me enjoy Lichtenstein so much.
Very true. I'll agree with that. Mine actually was Drowning Girl.
Drowning Girl, yeah. Drowning Girl was nice. That's probably my favorite one as well. But then Girl with Ball was probably the one where I was
knocked your socks off.
Yeah, I was probably that's when I was really able to.
That's when I was sold.
Discover.
I was sold on.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that one. Also.
We will on the next episode of Art Bros. I think.
All right.
So,
any other thoughts on this?
Like I said, my takeaway, just for it bears repeating, a childlike work taking on a serious matter. That's my takeaway from this. That's what that's what I see when I see this. Also, the barbarianism of war and man and whatnot. Yeah, but that's obvious.
I see the simplification of the scenario that's going on, but I mean that kind of comes.
That's a good one. I hate you.
Yeah, I kind of find that comes hand in hand with comics, though.
Yes.
I mean, so you have like a very. I don't know, you have this picture that's meant to go on a small piece of paper, but it's blown up, and because you're blowing it up, you're simplifying the features that's going on with it.
Yes.
And that's probably why, one of the main reasons I enjoyed so much.
Yes. Fancy Dave.
Well, again with the 60s and pop art, well, you see that shift, right? I mean, you're taking something disposable, and you're presenting it as a piece of art, so... Yes. And that's where the issue comes in, is it art, and raising that question in itself.
Was there art to begin with?
Yes, and I love that about it.
That's a good one.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah, is it art because it
just
got
to raise
blown
that
up?
question?
Yeah,
that's something that doesn't happen very often.
Very true, and that's what Lichtenstein focused on.
That seems to be like the question of the art world today.
Is it art?
Is it art? Because I know you look at the stuff that's being hung up in museums, and it really makes people second guess. Well,
it's related to that, like on Colbert Report.
Yeah.
There's one time he did a series on art, and he was visiting some contemporary artists, like in some galleries. There's one called Bird Shit, and the painting looked like bird shit.
Oh, right.
And Colbert said, I don't understand modern art that much, but I understand this. It looks like bird shit.
I know, yeah. I mean, there are certain scenarios. I'm totally blanking on the artist's name, but he canned his own shit. And I mean, and the title of the piece was actually Merde d'Artiste, which is shit of the artist. And he would canned his own poop, and he would sell it for the same weight in gold. So I mean, I can definitely see where people are coming from when they look at this stuff and they're just thinking like, how can this be publicized?
And this
in this
is what
manner?
kind of started raising these questions back then. Maybe not as extreme as
not
now.
Yeah.
But we have the origins of
definitely
that,
a stepping stone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So like Warhol made manufacturing and consumerism his topic. We have this Lichtenstein saying, is this art because I enlarged it and put it in a gallery?
And not to mention the original image isn't mine.
Exactly.
He did alter it though,
He
right?
did
alter it, but the basic idea and the basic...
This is the best example of fan art.
Yeah, I know. I know, yeah. I like everything's influenced by something. It seems like as the art world continues to evolve, there's always some previous step that's not yours.
Yeah, that's very true.
Okay.
All right, guys. So
Art Bros
approved, and Art Bros out.
Mm-hmm.
See you next time.
Out.